Scanning down ancient data sites of long-forgotten empires, reaping tons of loot by cracking firewalls with your trusty virus, getting rich on your plundered goods. Sounds awesome, yeah? Let's take a quick look at everything you'll need to get started as an explorer in EVE Online. So there's a lot to consider if you want to be a hardcore nullsec explorer, but it doesn't take much to actually get started, and with very little skill training, you can take your scanning frigate of choice out and try it out. Because the skill training can feel a bit random, I'll show requirements as I talk through them and post total skill training requirements in the description because it may get a little confusing. First, you're gonna need a ship. To start, each of the 4 major factions has an exploration frigate. They're usable right off the bat and get stronger the higher you train your racial frigate skill. Aside from visuals, they're identical, so pick one that falls in line with your bigger ship plans, or the one you think is cutest, I guess. The Galante have the Imicus, the Amar have the Magnate, Caldari have the Heron, and Minmatar have the Probe. Frigate skill grants 7.5% probe strength and a 5% reduction in salvager duration, which doesn't affect what we're doing much, but you can make a little salvage frig if you want to clean up missions, I guess. The roll bonus grants +5 virus strength. More on that later. There are more advanced ships in each faction that are categorized as covert ops ships. They have more racial flavor, and if you like exploration, you'll want to look at each one and decide which you want to invest training time towards. They share a type with stealth bombers too, and those are super neat, so be sure to check them out and then focus up, we're not done with scanning yet. Jeez. You'll also hear talk of the Sisters of Eve or SOE ships, the Astero and Stratios. They're amazing, and I fly them, but they're specialized, and I would urge you to ignore them until you've decided to commit to proper training, because they ain't cheap. Next, you'll have to get the proper stuff, and the basic Rookie Explorer kit is super cheap and easy. You'll need a probe launcher. Go basic for now to get the vibe. You'll feel less bad when you lose your ship as you start to explore further away from safety. So, Core Probe Launcher 1, you'll need to have Science 3, Astrometrics 1 trained up. Load those with 8 core scanner probes, and we'll discuss why 8 in a bit. Triangulation in space is also pretty neato. Next, you'll want a cloak, as these ships are generally not built to get into fights. So you want to cloak up while you scan, so others don't scan you down while you're scanning other stuff down. They're a little expensive if you're just starting out, so you don't need one, but getting CPU Management 4 and Cloaking 1 trained and getting used to living every moment of your undocked life cloaked will become your only means of success eventually. A quick note, the prototype cloaking device you'll be using to start out can't warp cloaked, but the covert ops one you'll eventually train into can. The last key piece of your kit are the scanners. Data sites and relic sites are different and their loot is different, but ultimately they're handled the same way in the game. So, grab a Relic Analyzer 1 by training CPU Management 1, Science 3, Survey 3, Archeology 1, and a Data Analyzer by training Science 3, CPU Management 2, Power Grid Management 2, Electronics Powers Upgrades 3, and Hacking 1. Maybe throw on a 1 MN or millinewton afterburner or a 5 millinewton micro warp drive to scoot between boxes, and you're all set. Congratulations! You can now go scan. That's really all that's required to undock and start scoping out HiSec, but in EVE, the more you put in, the more you get back, and I considered putting secondary skills in this video, but let's just stay focused on the task at hand, and I'll cover more under the hood skills in an advanced video. For now, let's undock and go find some sites. Let's stick to HiSec for now, young guns. The rewards aren't nearly as good, but it's a safe place to practice. When you feel comfortable, you can sneak into low sec, but I would avoid wormhole space for the time being because that place is a mess to handle. Let's bring up 2 new menus you may not have used yet, our directional scan, or D-scan, and our probe scan. When you initially open probe scan, it'll be docked in the solar system menu. And this is fine because you'll be using the two together, but let's decouple it and put it somewhere we can check at a glance while we move through systems. Click the little box that says Open in Separate Window, close the Solar System menu, and put that one in a space you like. Each system can show different amounts of different things. Cosmic anomalies can be seen and accessed by all and are not what we want, so you can use the drop-down to hide those if they bother you. We want signatures. Through the miracle of video editing, I just happen to be in a system that has one. Next, you'll want to, quick note here, the best practice is to check local, check overview, check D-scan, warp to a random location, set a bookmark during warp, create a safe space where you can cloak while you scan. We'll cover that in the advanced guide, and it bogs down the process, so for now, let's just stay in HiSec and just stay where we are. Next, you'll want to launch your probes and then cloak up. You'll see them in the overview at first, and they may show up on D-scan, so don't spook yourself. You can't be found when you're cloaked, so once you're at this point, at a safe location, D-scan won't matter. Let's bring back up the solar system map. My hotkey is F9, set yours to whatever you like. Triangulating a location in space is something one needs a degree in to properly communicate, so here's the EVE version. Each probe will sense the distance to something, but not the direction. One probe thus creates a sphere of possibilities along the surface. 2 probes create a ring where the distances overlap. 3 probes create an echo, and spoiler alert, it's always the furthest one from where you just scanned. I have no idea why. You need 4 probes to draw a distance on the same object to get an accurate 3D location. Set your probes up like this, 6 in a ring, 1 above, 1 below. Let them all overlap a fair amount. You don't need one in the center. Hold Shift to adjust individual probes. This will be the setup you use most of the time. At the bottom right there are 2 buttons, top down and side view. Get used to only using these 2 along with zoom in, zoom out stuff. Now, start big and work down. Select a signature and double click it to center it. Go to top down and move your probe group centered on it. Switch to side view, do the same thing. Start with a probe size of 4 AU and hit scan. Your probes zoom off and scan, creating the most cheerful, wonderful, relaxing noise in EVE. When they're done, you'll either get a sphere, circle, echo, or dot if you did it well. If you get the dot, repeat the previous steps and lower your probe scan area. Center the signature, top down, center, side view, center, resize, scan. Bing, bang, boom. If you didn't get a dot, here's the quick fixes without much explanation for now. For the sphere, center your probes but don't change the size and scan again. Same for the circle, though you may have to go up a size to get full coverage. For the echo, pick the one that's further away from where you just scanned and continue on as usual. And that's all there is to finding sites. While I show the process sped up, let's talk about what you'll find. You're only going to find 5 things when you scan like this: ore, combat sites, wormholes, data sites, and relic sites. Each of these have varying levels of respective difficulty, which grow as you get further away from high sec. Some you won't even be able to scan down fully until you've trained a lot more skills and have a stronger ship and modules. Once you get a signature to 25%, you'll see what the signature is, and once you're doing your thing, you'll eventually just move on after you've identified that a site isn't what you want. Alternatively, if you're scanning for a corp like our own Digital.Flash fleet, or your group of friends, you can scan down each site and save the locations in a corporate folder that you can share. So you've scanned down a data or relic site and it's time to scoop the loot and make big money! Hang on a sec, Rook, you still gotta hack that bad boy. Let's warp to the site, and another quick note, once again there are a myriad of things you'll need to check and double check while this is going on in low sec or null sec. We will hit these procedures in an advanced guide. This is high sec and you are virtually safe from everything except suicide gankers. Let's warp to the site, lock our loot box, and activate our hack. Hacking is a fairly straightforward minigame in which you look for the core and destroy it. Your virus has a health pool, shown in the top of the image on the bottom left, and a power level, shown on the bottom. When you fight a firewall or antivirus, your virus applies its damage to the enemy node. If the enemy node is still alive after, it will apply its damage to your virus. At a basic level, your virus isn't super strong and you'll want to train secondary skills to beef it up. If your virus dies, or you float more than 5,000 meters away from the box, you fail the hack. Fail twice and the loot box explodes and you get no loot. Here's the basics for successful hacking. Click on a node that's connected to open it. The number shows how close you are to uncovering something. You want to find and use power-ups to help kill antivirus programs. Without getting too deep, try to get to the opposite side of the map, stay along the outskirts to minimize blocking off paths when you find an enemy program, and look for nodes connected on all 6 sides. They're generally safe. Repeat this process until time stops. Practice, practice, practice. That's all for the basic guide. I'll try to get an advanced guide out that covers more skills, mods, ships, and tactics for when you're ready to move out of high sec. And one last thing, please remember, play the game to have fun. Efficiency and ISK per hour are important, but don't let them dominate your mindset and turn your EVE fun into EVE work. That's the path of the bitter vet. Until next time, from all of us here at Digital.Flash.Fire, I'm Matt, Rolling Thunder!